had power in 48 hours. I get the frustration, but please know the city, the state, Lg&e are working around the clock. I echo the comments from Lg&e to stay safe. Please stay safe. Yesterday we were out meeting with people, looking at damage, surveying, seeing what's going on. There were down lines near where I live at Lg&e and Pavilion, and the sparks were so bright. It was in between the Murphys and the Fox's house. They said you almost needed sunglasses inside. It got so hot. It got so hot from the down power line that it literally turned some of the sand and gravel into glass on the street. Please stay safe out there. Please know that we are doing everything we can to restore power as quickly as possible, and you have amazing people doing amazing work. I also stress that as bad as things might seem right now for those without power, we're a little bit lucky. There was no one in the Louisville area who was killed by the storm. There have been some people who were injured. There was a firefighter who broke his back last night, and obviously we want people to be safe. We are frustrated as well. We did dodge a bullet in terms of casualties and in terms of overall injuries. So we're working, and then once we get power back on, we continue to assess the damage. As Mayor Greenberg said, the state of emergency from the city, from the state will trigger a federal response in which we will be working to bring as much money back here as quickly as possible to make sure we make our community whole again. So I look forward to being a part of that effort, and really and truly stay safe. And I'm so appreciative of the work that our city crews and that the Lg&e crews are doing 24 hours a day to get Louisville back on track as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Congressman Garvey. In terms of some of the city's response with respect to public works, a few updates. We are now down to a single-digit number of roads that are still blocked because of tree or other debris in the road, and the only reason for those is because they're interconnected with wires, and so we're collaborating with Lg&e in partnership to clear those few remaining blocked roads as soon as possible. We are also working on, tomorrow we will start working on alleyways that may still be blocked as our public works folks get back out. As I mentioned earlier, we're here at the electrical maintenance crew headquarters for public works. One of the things that they have been working on is restoring traffic signals throughout the city. A reminder to everyone, if traffic signals are out and they're either just completely out or blinking red lights, please treat them as a four-way stop. We have had accidents on the street as a result of people not knowing how to handle that, so I encourage everyone to use caution when approaching an intersection where the traffic signals are out, and please treat them as a four-way stop. We know that there's a lot of debris in folks' yards around the entire community. And so we have taken some actions that we want to announce right now with respect to the cleanup effort in that. First, we are opening up 7 locations around the entire city where people will be able to bring their yard debris starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. It will be open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 7 locations around the entire city. One of the locations will be located in Shawnee Park, and we'll provide all of this also with a graphic and specific information. So first, Shawnee Park. Second, the Public Works Yard at 10,500 Lower River Road. 3, there's a location right near Fairdale Elementary School at 10618 West Manslick Road. The 4th location is at Fern Creek Park. The 5th location is at Smith Creek Compost Facility on Aiken Road. The 6th location is at the Public Works Yard on Hubbard's Lane. And the 7th is the Waste Reduction Center located at 636 Meriwether Avenue. So again, we will get all of that information out with specific details of the addresses, a map that shows those 7 spread around throughout the entire city. So if anyone has debris that they would like to take, they can bring that starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Also, we have decided to accelerate the time at which we start our yard waste collection by Public Works within the Urban Service District. So for those who live within the Urban Service District, yard waste collection will resume tomorrow morning. And so people can put their yard waste at the curb if they are in the Urban Service District. So to provide a little bit more information on some of the things that Public Works is doing, we're joined by Sal Melendez from Public Works. Sal?
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. So as it's been stated already, our crews, our public works crews have been working around the clock to make sure that everything is restored to a sense of normal operation. So our roads division has been able to clear debris from public roads, with the exception of, like the mayor said, of a few roads that are involved, or a few locales that are involved with power lines. So as soon as those are cleared, our crews will go to those and make sure that they are cleared for passage. Starting tomorrow, our roads crews will begin collecting that storm debris that has been pushed to the side of the road to make sure that our public roadways, the public right-of-way is clear. As far as the locations that the mayor mentioned, they will be open from 7 a.m. from 8 a.m. correction to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. So as long as it's necessary. And like I said, we're here at the electrical maintenance shop, and some of what also they've been working around the clock, and some of what they've been doing is the following, some of the information about them. As we work around the clock, we have 30 personnel and their support staff to make sure that traffic signals return to normal operation. And what takes place in those situations is that unless they are, as power is returned to them, they'll go into a flashing mode, and that will trigger a response for our crews to go there and restore them to normal operation. Anything that requires more in-depth repair of a given traffic signal will be documented, and crews will go back to make sure that there is a permanent fix to those. We are responsible for 1,000 traffic signaling devices in the metro. So we have our hands full. We have crew today we have 5 crews of 2-person teams making sure that those intersections, those devices are restored to normal. And to reiterate the mayor's message, that treat those as a 4-way stop. You know, come to a complete stop, it's clear to pass, then pass it, following what we remember as our driving school lessons. And now we'll move on to the guidelines on yard waste and storm debris. So you can, tree debris have to be separated from bulky waste. What I mean by that is anything that the storm may have blown into your yard, or like a portion of a fence or a shed, that is not part of a tree debris. So make sure that you separate those from trees and yard waste, so that the process to process, is expedited. That's to make sure that, we're moving fast. Our crews, as this process, we are moving fast at those locations, and we are able to take more content and process it, and it gets to the correct destination without any additional delays. So again, working around the clock, hazardous materials like paint, gases, or any chemicals are not accepted at these sites. And again, they will be open to, the hours will be 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. So visit the website, visit the Louisville KY website, and you'll find all the information, all the maps of all the locations, and any additional information that you would require. Thank you.
Thanks, Sal. Next, I'm going to call on Deputy Mayor for Emergency Services, David James, who's going to talk a little bit about what to do if people still aren't sure of who to call in terms of 311, 911, and what services we're providing in that regard.
Thanks, Mayor Greenberg. Hello, everybody. Just want to remind folks that 911 is for life-threatening emergencies. If you're calling about storm debris or wire down, things like that, and you want to let the Metro government know about it, use 311. We normally don't have 311 open on the weekends, but 311 is open this weekend. We took in 600 calls yesterday. We've taken in about 130 calls today. So please continue to make those phone calls so everybody knows what's going on. It helps all the people behind me understand the total picture that we're dealing with. And I just want to thank everybody at Metro Safe for all the work they've been doing. Took over 5,000 calls on Friday night, and they've still been going at it, and they've been doing a great job. Everybody has been doing a great job, and really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor James. Just like every organization in this entire city, Jefferson County Public Schools has also been working around the clock to deal with the aftermath of the storms on Friday. And we're joined here today by Carolyn Callahan, the Chief of Communications with JCPS. Carolyn?
Good afternoon, everyone. We have had more than 200 employees who have been working hard throughout this weekend. They've been going into all of our buildings. That's more than 160 buildings that we have throughout Jefferson County Public Schools. So we've had our housekeeping teams, our electrical renovations and roofing departments, plumbing and HVAC departments, and our grounds departments have been working throughout the weekend to see what damage that we have at our buildings and to also work with Lg&e. Thank you to Lg&e, who has been phenomenal in helping us get many of our schools back online. These numbers are constantly changing. As I drove over here today, I got a text message that 3 more schools had power again. That's how quickly this is happening. So right now, we have 21 schools without power or with partial power. That is down from 40 or so that we had at another time this weekend. 44 of our school campuses have trees or large limbs that are down. 1 school has broken windows that have been boarded up. We do have power lines down or on or near 3 of our school campuses. And 2 schools do have some flooding in 1 room in each of those schools. We are extremely thankful and grateful that that flooding damage and the damage in general is not even worse than it could be. Right now we have nothing extremely significant in the flooding department. Again, that is 1 room in 2 different buildings that have sustained some flooding, and our crews are already there working on that now. To give you an idea of some of the damage that we're seeing, at Maupin, there is a partial fence down. Slaughter has a light pole down by the playground. Jeffersontown Elementary School has some siding off the building. That is something that we've seen. Shingles blow off roofs. We see siding come off buildings. We also have 25 schools right now that do not have internet access. So our teams are, of course, working on that as well. If we are unable to have school tomorrow, we will let families and the community know as soon as we have that answer. We send out that information through social media, through text messages and emails, and we will let families know as soon as we know what's going on. Again, this is a very fluid situation. As I said, just driving over here, we were getting more schools online. So we are at about 21 schools right now without power or with partial power. We are working through that, and we will let you know as soon as we have a decision on whether or not we can safely have school tomorrow. That is, of course, our #1 priority. If we cannot safely have school tomorrow, we will not. If we can get everything back online and make sure that there is no severe damage and nothing that would be a safety issue to our more than 96,000 students and 17,000 staff members, then we will do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, for everything that you and everyone at JCPS are doing. One of the heartening things when you go through challenges like this is to see other organizations around the community that are stepping up to help those who are most in need. And one of those amazingly strong partners of ours is Dare to Care. We're joined today by Vincent James, who's the CEO of Dare to Care, and is going to talk a little bit about their outreach efforts to those who are challenged by the loss of electricity. Vincent?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to all the men and women who are working diligently to help all of us to be able to return to some sense of normalcy. And at Dare to Care, we recognize those who have experienced these power outages across our community. One of the things we wanted to ensure that we are able to meet our neighbors that are hit in those hardest areas the most, who have the longest term in terms of not having power, and also who have the less resources that they have to go and replenish the food that they have. One of the things that we're providing Dare to Care, we're working hard to be able to resolve a lot of the issues that we're seeing in our community as it relates to lack of food. And so our first response is to ensure, again, those areas that are hardest hit. And we're going to disperse our mobile pantry, which will be going to 3 locations on tomorrow. This information is also, you can find it on our website at daretocare.org. From 10 to 12 a.m., we're going to be at the Catholic Enrichment Center at 3146 West Broadway. From 1 to 3, we'll be at the Newburgh Community Center at 4810 Baxter Avenue, and then we will be at the St. Stephen's Baptist Church from 5 to 7. That's located at 1015 South 18th Street. We will be in the parking lot directly across from the church. And on Tuesday, March the 7th, Dare to Care will be fortifying 2 current sites that we have scheduled already. That is from 10 to 11:30. We'll be at the Parkland PAC, 2500 Parkland Avenue, and then from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. we will be at the Holy Name Catholic Church at 2933 4th Street. In Dare to Care, we are truly committed to supporting our neighbors who are in need during this critical time, and we also have experienced some disruptions ourselves at our 28 and Virginia site that we have had power outages there, so it's disrupted some of the service that we're going to be able to provide. But the good news is that we came back online this morning, so we're going to be able to disperse food as well. And so I want you to be able to follow Dare to Care on social media to get any kind of updates as it relates to food. And we're working with our partners in Metro Council. We're working with our partners in local city government to ensure that we are getting the food to the folks who are in need. So make sure that you are checking our website, connecting with folks that we can ensure that you're getting the food that you need and have access to it. And so if you're looking for ways to help, you also can help in multiple ways. You can help by volunteering, or you can help by donating. You can donate resources as it relates to dollars, because one of the things is that for every dollar that is donated, we're able to provide 6 meals for families in our community. And so it's much more efficient to be able to manage the dollar and getting more healthy and food for our neighbors. And also we want to make sure that if you want to volunteer, you can volunteer. You can go online and register at volunteer@daretocare.org. So we need your help, we need your support. The great thing about our community is whenever we face a challenge, we step up. And one of the things I want to encourage and challenge you as well is that this is a time that you can look out for your neighbor. Simply call someone to see how they're doing. One of the things Dare to Care started in 1969 as a tragic result of Bobby Ellis dying of malnutrition on Thanksgiving Eve. And I talked with his sister last year, and I was just checking in with her, and she said, you know, if somebody would have checked in with my family some 50 plus years ago, my brother would have never died. And so I'm just challenging you and encouraging you to just check on your neighbor. It's definitely time to be my brothers and sisters keeper. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vincent, for everything that you and your entire team at Dare to Care does around all year long, and particularly in challenging times like this. And finally today, speaking of helping others and being safe, we're joined by Major Cooper from the Louisville Fire Department that's going to talk about a few safety tips in terms of what to do both with, in your yard and also as power begins to come back on for those that don't have it. Major Cooper?
Thank you, Mayor. What events like this demonstrate is that public safety is the priority of all Metro government, not just emergency services. So what we want to do now is educate you on how to stay safe, how to remain safe. And the first thing is to understand the significance of the event and the magnitude that's occurred of the event. And that you still need to remain safe. There's still a lot of hazards out there. So 3 things that I'll tell you are fire safety, carbon monoxide safety, and then injury prevention. So first, let's start with fire safety. So to reduce the risk of injuries following things like this where there's power outages, make sure that your oven, that your stove, especially if they're electric, that they're turned off. And any other kind of kitchen appliances or small appliances that you may have, making sure that they're turned off and that they're unplugged to prevent any fires that may occur once electric is restored. Also understand that your smoke alarms, a lot of people have hardwired smoke alarms now and carbon monoxide detectors. Those aren't working right now unless you have a battery backup. So if you have those hardwired smoke alarms, make sure that you get some battery-powered smoke alarms to place inside your homes. For lighting, don't use candles. Use flashlights. Go buy some batteries and buy some flashlights. Home Depots, Lowe's, Kroger's, any kind of store will have plenty of flashlights for you. And then of course, alternative heating, it's warming up, but still the evenings get cool. So making sure that if you're using that fireplace or something else, that you're prepared to operate properly and it's been inspected and there's going to be no hazards there. Take the opportunity to practice your escape plan from a fire as well. If you're without power, you're looking for something to do with your kids, practice that escape plan and know how you're going to do it in the dark or with limited lighting as well. Again, remember things like a place to meet and making sure that you get your kids out as quick as possible. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide poisoning is one of the leading causes of death following a natural disaster, and that's what we've clearly had here is a natural disaster. So if you have a carbon monoxide detector in your house, again, remember, it needs to be battery operated right now. Generators, a lot of you are going to be using generators, so we reiterate this all the time, but if you're using that generator, make sure that it's 20 feet away from your home, that you have your doors and your windows closed, also making sure that the exhaust fumes are directed away from the home, so that you're not bringing that carbon monoxide into the house. Propane and charcoal barbecues, we often see people who will bring those into the home to cook on or to keep warm. Do not do that. It emits a tremendous amount of carbon monoxide. It builds up very quickly. So make sure that you're using those outside with your generators or any kind of propane heaters and things like that. If you're going to refuel it, making sure that you're letting it cool down. The generator or the heater, let it cool down and then refuel it. Also making sure that you're using a proper way to store that fuel and that you're storing the fuel outside of your home. And lastly, injury prevention. So look, we've got a lot of down power lines. We've also got a lot of tree limbs that are down. We have damage to homes, gutters, things like that. Ladders are one of the most dangerous tools in the world. Also chainsaws. So what you have is you have high-risk tools and low frequency of use. And that's a recipe for disaster, injury. So making sure that you're being patient, that you're using cautious actions when you are using those ladders, making sure that you have a spotter, somebody out there with you. If you're going to be out doing this kind of work, it's dangerous. So making sure that you're talking to your family, that you're letting a spouse, that you're letting your children or live alone, that you're calling somebody, saying, hey, I'm going outside to do some work. If you don't hear from me in a couple hours, check on me. So making sure that we're checking on each other. Which then I want to make sure that I echo what Vincent just said, checking on each other. So making sure that those that are without power, that you're checking on them. This message that we're sharing right now, if you don't have power, then more than likely you're not watching TV. You might have some internet access from your phones, things like that. You may not be able to listen to the radio. So if you have power and you're hearing this message, making sure that you're sharing that message with those that do not. And again, just looking out for your neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Major Cooper. And just one other update is the thing to notify folks on is we know that there is a lot of debris out there. Burning debris in your yard is not legal in New York. It's also not safe. Last night yesterday we believed that we had a house fire that was caused likely as a result of someone burning debris in their yard. A firefighter, as Congressman McGarvey mentioned earlier, was injured in battling that blaze. And that is not the safe approach. Do not burn debris in your yard. If you have debris and you live within the urban service district, please leave it out for Public Works to pick up. If you live outside the urban service district or even within inside the urban anywhere, you can bring it to one of the 7 debris drop-off locations that we announced earlier today. And so please, if your neighbors have debris in their yard, and as has been said several times today, they are not able to clear, lend a helping hand. When you check in on others, lend a helping hand with what they need. Help them with debris. If they're in need of food, help them. If you have the ability to share some of your food with them. If someone is without power and doesn't want to be by themselves, if you have an extra bed or a couch in your house, please invite your neighbors in, your friends and family in to help others who are still in need. Before we take questions, just very briefly, Sal is going to come back up and provide a few of the key points from this conversation in Spanish for those of our neighbors who are Spanish speaking. Sal?
Thank you, Mayor. This will take about 2.5 minutes. Try to recap what everyone addressed today. Esta conferencia de prensa es en referencia a la respuesta de los servicios públicos y de seguridad de parte de la ciudad y de la oficina del alcalde Greenberg. Empezando con la compañía de energía Lg&e, ellos ofrecen paciencia, que quieren que entiendan de que sus grupos de trabajo están trabajando alrededor del reloj las 24 horas para asegurarse de que los servicios sean restaurados a estado normal, así que tengan paciencia y estén con cuidado. En lo que se refiere a las escuelas, el sistema escolar, a JCPS, pongan atención a los medios de comunicación, a las noticias, hoy a las 7 de la noche, porque ellos tendrán una conferencia de prensa anunciando cuál va a ser la decisión para la semana que viene, para el día de mañana, si habrán clases el día de mañana. En lo que se refiere de parte de la oficina, la Agencia de Servicios de Emergencia de la ciudad, EAME, sobre el uso de 311, tratar de recordarle a las personas de que el servicio de 311 es simplemente para servicios públicos, no son para servicios de emergencia. Así que mantengan el número 911, 911 abierto para cuando solamente sea una emergencia. En lo que se refiere, debido a la pérdida de energía eléctrica, yo sé de que en muchos casos la comida en los refrigeradores se ha arruinado, así de que hay una agencia local que se llama Dare to Care, y ellos tienen un sitio de web en el cual usted puede informarse, donde habrán zonas de dispensa de comida.
If you do nothing else.
Nothing else.
para
If you do
poder-
nothing
If you
else.
do nothing else.
If you 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 do nothing else.